So today I'm very excited to bring on a special guest. We have Manabu Suzuki with IPA, which is International Property Agents in Tokyo, Japan. So in Relocation is Your Move, we try and cover all parts of the globe so that if you find yourself going to somewhere like Japan, we'll have a contact all set up for you. So I'm going to bring in Manabu and let him talk a little bit about the business there in Japan and a little bit about himself. So Manabu, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So, if you would, just give us a little background on yourself, how long you've been in the business, and I understand you speak
Okay.
multiple languages. So, maybe you could give us
Yes.
a little information on yourself.
Okay. I have been in the real estate business for 12 years. Before that, I was working for an IT software engineer. I used to work in Japan, Australia, and China, and North Carolina, US. So many multiple locations. I decided to move to the real estate industry in 2013, and 12 years have passed. I have been assisting more than 100 Japanese investors to become the owner of overseas properties. Actually, we have closed 26 countries, different countries, including the USA, Australia, UK, Germany, and many Asian countries, many European countries. So this is part of our work that we doing the international transactions for the Japanese national. But on the other way, for the recent couple of years, we have a big influx of overseas investors that flocks into Japan market, including the Americans. They want to buy properties in Japan, and we are assisting them too.
That is very interesting. So, what I thought I'd do is I pulled a couple of slides from your website and some of the stuff that you've done in the past. So, I'm going to bring those up and kind of let you talk about that
Yep.
so that we can give the audience a good idea of maybe what it's like to purchase actually in
Yep.
Japan, what kind of properties are available. I understand that there's something called Akias. So, let me get to that and let you talk a little bit about some of those types of transactions.
Okay, the property transaction processes for the cash purchase buyers, it's not much different from the US practices. Maybe I would say that the Japan is a more simplified process of what Americans are practicing at home. For example, everybody makes an offer in the US. In Japan, we do the same. But in many states in the US, I know that they need to attach proof of funds. But in Japan, you can just make the offer without proof of funds. You just send expression of interest without the proof of fund. Actually, the inspection, only 10% of the Japanese, they do the inspection before buying their homes. 90% they don't. This is totally different world, actually. Many Americans, they want to buy Akias, which is vacant houses in Japan, which is typically old house, deceased estate. And as a matter of fact, almost 0% people who does the inspection. If the buyer really want to do the inspection, I can organize the inspection, but this is rare. For example, the Americans, they don't live in Japan. So we do the process of, let's say, POA, like a power of attorney process. That means the American buyer appoint us as their agent. I can sign the property purchase contract on their behalf. And typically the POA, the power of attorney document, need to be notarized in the notary public in the US. So this is the process that they need to do at home. And typically we need original copy of the notarization of the buyer's signature. So I asked the American buyer to send all the original copies to Japan, and we handle that. Typically 10%. It's also depending on the negotiation, but yeah, typically 10% of the total purchase price. This is treated as a deposit or kind of earnest money. The time between the contract to the settlement is typically 3 to 4 weeks, nearly 1 month. When they pay the balance, they are asked to pay the agent commission and the legal fees, some taxes. Typically, the deceased estate where the owner dies and nobody lives. It typically happens in the rural areas or the regional cities. Smaller cities in Japan, where the younger generation, their sons and daughters, they typically go to bigger cities like Tokyo. So the parents lives in countryside, their houses not being lived once the parents dies, I think. So those house stocks become the vacant. And those are called akiyas, which literally mean the vacant houses in Japanese. And in Japan, the roughly speaking, 15% of the house stocks is akiya, vacant.
Wow. So this is the inside of that particular house. I noticed that. Let me go back here just a second. It's listed for 122,000 US dollars, which is equivalent to about 18 million yen.
Right.
And it was built in 1986. It's about 1,127 square feet. So, somebody that wanted to purchase something like this, I see that through your website, you can instantly check the Airbnb eligibility. So I would imagine that this is fulfilling two different needs: somebody that wants an investment property or somebody that wants a second home.
Yes, right.
And here's one that's only 53,000 US dollars, built in 1985. So I thought I'd bring in something that's a little bit different. This is a newer build. This looks like it's near Tokyo. Now, this shows 139 million yen. So I did a quick calculation. That comes to about 951,000 dollars in the U.S. So I would imagine that this would probably be where the younger generation is living. These are the kids in the younger generation that are already living in Tokyo, and they don't want to go back out to the countryside to take over their parents' properties. Is that right?
This is for the relatively wealthy people who live in such houses. This is inside Tokyo. So it's costly. It's nearly 1 million US dollars.
Right. Yes, it is. So I ran a little calculation here on this slide. It shows what the dollar to the yen is. So 1 yen is a little over almost 7 cents. So, but if you look at $1, it's 146.87 yen. So when someone's doing a calculation and they see something listed in yens, they'll be able to quickly go to the calculator there and figure out what that ends up being. In the United States, we've kind of slowed down. We're past the
Yep.
pandemic. Things are returning to normal. Things have slowed down. Of course, the interest rates are a little bit high here. So, what
Yep.
what are you seeing as far as market activity in Japan overall?
Yep.
How is the real estate market there?
Generally good. Generally, all types of the house stocks are readily available for the brokerage. The main difference between Japan and US is probably the interest rate. We're still low.
Oh, it is. Wow.
So it's low.
All right. So let me back up here just a second. Your
Yeah.
interest rate is about 2%. What percentage of your sales are cash versus finance?
Basically, for the foreign buyers, 100% are cash buyers because it's difficult for the foreign buyers who doesn't live in Japan to get the finance from the Japanese banks. So they are cash buyers. For the domestic Japanese buyers, they typically use bank loans.
At 2%, I can understand why. That's
Everybody uses that. Yeah.
yeah, and that's inexpensive money. Now, that brings up one other question when you're talking about foreign buyers. So let's just say that I wanted to buy one of these Ikea.
Yep.
Does that mean that I would have easy access to coming and going from Japan? I mean, once you own a home there, does that give you kind of a regular visa
Yep.
for going back and forth?
Okay, Americans, they can come to Japan anytime without the visa, and they can stay for 90 days, 3 months. So many American buyers, they don't get visas. They just come and stay 90 days and go to other countries, then come back.
And is there a
And
certain time that frame that you have to be out of the country, or just that you leave and that you come back? So if you left for 2 or 3 weeks, you could come back and stay another 90 days.
yeah, this is possible.
Got it. Negotiations. I think we might have touched briefly on that, but can you
Yep.
tell me, either from the IKEA side, or maybe it's not a vacant house, maybe it's just a regular
Yep.
property.
Yes.
Typically, what do you see them selling for opposed to what they're listed for?
people usually try to discount from the sales price, actually the listed price. And typical discount is 5 to 10%. For
Okay.
IKEAs, for that has been vacant for many months, then you can get more discount. 20, 30% is possible.
That's the way it is here. The longer it's on the market,
Yeah.
usually the better options you have for
Yeah.
getting a better deal. So when you all measure your sales there in Tokyo or in Japan, would you say that you're up over previous years, or are you pretty stable, or how is the overall market?
Last year was very, very good year. And this year is average, but probably it's lower than last year. This year, actually, many changes. We see many changes in the international news, like Trump administration come up, they do the tariffs and many changes, unknown uncertainty. So many investors, they wait and see attitude before buying. So
I think
that slows down. Yeah.
I think that's the same as it is here.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, a little bit of an uncertainty. We have, as you can well imagine, have a lot of Canadian owners here, and we've seen a lot of the Canadians sell properties
Yep.
here in the U.S. just because of what's been going on. So I've
Yep.
actually had a couple myself that have sold the
Yep.
properties here, and they were second homes typically because of different tariffs and things like that. So I can understand
Yeah.
why it would be the same there. So.
I can understand because you are in Florida. There are many Canadian buyers.
That's exactly right. So you all are part of the leading RE network, which is
Yes.
what this channel is all based about. From relocation, we connect with all types of agents all across the United States, all across the
Yes.
globe that are part of leading RE.
Right.
So I understand that you speak several languages.
Yes.
What all do you speak?
I speak Japanese is my mother tongue. English and Mandarin Chinese, something that language that I use in at business.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I can speak Mandarin fluently as well. Yeah.
Wow.
And I can speak some Korean, some Thai, some Spanish, very limited Russian or something.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure that because of where you're located, Japan is off the coast of Korea and China,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
I would imagine that you
Yeah.
probably see. Now, I don't know if you have any Chinese buyers there. I don't think that right now in the United States they can buy in
Mhm.
certain locations. But do you
Yeah.
see much of an activity from either Korea or from China as far as people purchasing in Japan?
For China, yes. Chinese buyers has been very active in Japanese market. They typically concentrate in big cities.
Mhm.
Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. Yeah.
Right. Well, I sure do appreciate you taking your time today. Is there anything
Yes.
that you want might that I might not have asked that you want to add, just so people have more information for the
Yeah.
purchasing in Japan?
Yes, I welcome and we are assisting the foreign buyers. And I like American buyers. They focus on our Akias because I'm very sad to see many beautiful house stocks in the countryside and rural area. They are left vacant. I bought six of them already countrywide.
So you have 6 IKEAs.
Yes, yes, I purchased and I do the Airbnb for all of that. And many Americans do the same. And I like to see more and more people who come to Japan's hidden gem
Mhm.
of the very nice, beautiful area in countryside. They actually renovate Akias to be the beautiful guest houses. So that is something.
That when I was
Yeah.
looking at some of these photos of the IKEAs,
Yes.
I thought, well, it looks like
Yes.
some of these could use some renovations, but it sounds to me
Yep.
from what you just said, a lot of people will buy them because they can buy them at a good value. I mean, we saw one
Yep.
here that was $50,000, and
Yep.
then they would put in some money into it to get it renovated and updated.
Right.
From that process standpoint, is that very difficult? Do you have to have permits and all that kind of stuff, or are they pretty much open for you fixing it up without a lot of government intervention?
Generally, it's easy. We have some consideration. One is zoning. We have two different type of licenses. Hotel license is better. And another guest house license is come kind of the lower category. Hotel license permit, we need to avoid the residential only zones. So we can build the hotel license one in commercial or industrial or some mixed use zoning. So zoning is one thing. And each city and the municipality has a different policy against the guest houses. Some municipality welcomes, but some cities like Kyoto, they are already packed with hotels and guest houses. It's so popular and they are typically hostile to the guest houses. So we also need to see the municipality policy. But I have 7 years of experience in renovating and opening as a guest houses. So I can pretty much foresee what to do
Right.
and I can advise. Yeah.
Great. Well, it sure has been a pleasure taking this time today
Yeah.
to have a conversation. And
Right.
if you want to get in touch with Manabu, I've got an 800 number down below so that you can
Yep.
just call and we'll get you connected with him. Should you be looking to buy property in Japan,
Yep.
or if you have property there and you're looking to liquidate it, I'm sure that he would be happy to help you with that as well.
Yes.
Great. Manabu, thank you so much for joining us here today on Relocation. It's your move. Like I said there, I'll put a link to the description down below so that you can get in touch directly with Manabu. And if you find yourself looking for a property anywhere in the United States or across the globe, we're here to help you. Mark Baimig, Michael Saunders and Company.